Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When it comes to love, especially from a man's perspective, the less you care, the more he loves you. Now, I'm not saying ignore him. I'm not saying treat him like he's invisible, but I am saying you need to stop making him the center of your entire world from the moment he walks into it. Men are hunters by nature. If you're already sitting in the middle of the field, waving your arms, screaming, "Come get me," where's the hunt? Where's the thrill? Where's the challenge? A man doesn't fall in love because you bend over backwards for him. He falls in love because he feels he earned your time, your energy, and your heart. When you truly value yourself first, you send a message to the world, and especially to any man, that you know your worth and you're not willing to settle for anything less than you deserve. Men can feel that. They might not always be able to explain it, but they recognize it the moment they meet a woman who carries herself with confidence and self-respect. It's not about arrogance. It's not about being cold. And it's not about acting like you're too good for anyone. It's about having standards and not being afraid to stick to them no matter how much you like someone. When you place yourself at the top of your own priority list, you naturally become more attractive because you're not chasing approval. You're living in your own light, and people are drawn to that glow. A man is naturally wired to be intrigued by what he cannot easily have. If you present yourself as someone who's too eager to please, always available, and willing to bend your entire life around him from the start, he might appreciate it in the moment, but deep down, he's not inspired to put in more effort. Why? Because the chase is over before it even began. But a woman who values herself doesn't operate like that. She has her own passions, her own responsibilities, her own friends, her own dreams, and she doesn't drop all of that just because someone new is showing interest. When a man sees that you take care of yourself, physically, emotionally, spiritually, he understands that you're not looking for someone to complete you. You're already complete. That changes the dynamic entirely. You're not a woman sitting around waiting for love to save you. You're a woman living a full life, and he has to earn a place in it. That's a powerful position to be in. You're not competing for his attention. You're allowing him the opportunity to compete for yours. And believe me, when a man realizes he has to step up to be part of your life, he'll do it with a different kind of energy. Valuing yourself also means knowing when to say no. Too many women think that saying yes to everything a man wants will make him happy and make him love you more. But the truth is, boundaries are what make relationships strong. A man can't respect a woman who doesn't respect herself. When you have clear limits about how you want to be treated, about how much time you give, about what you're willing to tolerate, you're teaching him how to love you. And here's the thing. A man who's worth your time will rise to meet those standards. The wrong man will complain about, but the right man will honor them. Self-value isn't about ignoring him. It's about not losing yourself in him. It's about making sure that in the process of loving someone else, you still keep loving yourself. That means you still go after your personal goals. You still enjoy your social life, and you don't cancel everything just because he called. You maintain the parts of your life that make you happy outside of the relationship, because those are the things that make you the vibrant, confident woman he was drawn to in the first place. When you live this way, something shifts in the relationship. He doesn't see you as someone who needs him to feel whole. He sees you as someone he's lucky to have. And that's when the love starts to deepen. Because now he's working to keep you. He's paying attention to your needs. and he's showing up with more effort than ever before. Men thrive when they feel like they have to earn your heart every day. And the only way to keep that energy alive is to make sure you're always prioritizing yourself. That's not selfish. That's how you create a relationship built on mutual respect, effort, and lasting attraction. One of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships, especially early on, is giving too much too soon. When you overinvest from the start, you take away the challenge, the mystery, and the excitement that naturally makes a man want to pursue you. It's human nature. We tend to value the things we work for more than the things handed to us with no effort. When you give a man all of your time, energy, and attention right out of the gate, you might think you're showing him how much you care. But in his mind, it can start to feel like he doesn't have to earn anything. And when a man feels like he doesn't have to earn you, he won't work as hard to keep you. Men are hunters by instinct. They're wired to pursue, to conquer, to win. When you take that away by doing all the chasing, all the giving, all the proving, you rob him of the very thing that keeps his interest alive. Think about it like this. If you give him everything without making him put in any real effort, you're telling him, I'm yours, no matter what you do. That sounds sweet in theory, but in practice, it tells him there's no need to bring his best self to the table. The excitement of pursuit fades because the pursuit never really had to happen. Overinvesting too soon also creates an imbalance. You start pouring more into him than he's pouring into you, and that leads to resentment, disappointment, and confusion later. You start wondering why he's not matching your energy, but from his perspective, he's already gotten what he wanted without having to step up. The rhythm of the relationship gets thrown off before it's even had a chance to find its natural pace. The truth is, when a man meets you, he's paying attention to how you treat yourself and how you allow him to treat you. If you give too much too soon, your time, your money, your emotional energy, you risk showing him that your love comes cheap. And when something feels cheap, people don't value it the same way they value something they had to earn. That's not just in relationships, that's in every area of life. If he had to put in effort, be consistent, and show up to win your heart, he's going to treasure that connection because he knows it wasn't easy to get. There's a difference between being warm, kind, and interested versus overgiving to prove your worth. When you start rearranging your schedule for him constantly, answering every text in seconds, always saying yes to every request, you're signaling that you've got nothing else going on that matters more than him. And while it might feel like you're just being available, what he's picking up on is that you're putting him in a position of priority he hasn't earned yet. That's when attraction starts to slip. Men value what they invest in. When he has to work to win you over, he's emotionally investing in the process. Every thoughtful text, every planned date, every act of consistency is building his own attachment to you. But if you rush in and do all of that for him before he's shown he's worthy, you deny him the chance to develop that deeper connection on his own. That's why pacing yourself is so important. Let him meet you halfway. Let him contribute to the building of the relationship. It's not about playing games or withholding love. It's about self-control and self-respect. It's about protecting your energy and making sure that the person you're giving to has proven they deserve that level of access to you. The most powerful relationships are the ones where both people are equally invested, not where one person is carrying the whole load from the very beginning. When you hold back just enough to let him step forward, you create a healthy back and forth rhythm that builds attraction, respect, and real partnership. There's something powerful about self-respect that constant availability can never compete with. You can be beautiful, you can be sweet, you can be the most caring person in the world, but if you don't carry yourself with self-respect, it's like you've dimmed your own light, and men notice that. They might not say it out loud, but they feel the difference between a woman who values herself and one who's just waiting to be chosen. Self-respect isn't about arrogance. It's about knowing what you're worth and refusing to settle for less than that. It's about showing up in a way that says, I am valuable, and I will treat myself like I'm valuable. Constant availability might feel like love, but in reality, it can work against you. When you're always available, dropping everything for him, answering his texts right away no matter what you're doing, rearranging your entire life just to see him, you might think you're making him feel special, but you're actually making it too easy. And when it's too easy, it's human nature to start taking it for granted. That's not just about men, that's about people in general. When something is always there, we stop noticing its value. Self-respect, on the other hand, creates attraction because it demands a certain level of treatment. When you respect yourself, you're not going to put up with being treated as an afterthought. You're not going to accept being called only when it's convenient for him. You're not going to drop your plans at the last minute to fit into his schedule. Instead, you teach him that your time is precious, that your attention is earned, and that you have your own life that matters, that makes him step up if he wants to be part of it. A man might act like he wants you to be available all the time, but the truth is, deep down, he respects you more when you're not, because then he knows that when you choose to spend time with him, it's a choice, not an obligation. That's what makes it special. That's what makes him appreciated. A woman who respects herself isn't desperate for someone else's validation. She's already validated by the way she lives her life, the standards she keeps, and the boundaries she enforces. Now, don't confuse self-respect with playing games. It's not about ignoring him on purpose or making him chase you just to prove a point. It's about living in a way that naturally keeps you from overgiving to someone who hasn't proven they deserve it yet. It's about holding on to your dignity no matter how much you like him. It's about saying, I can like you, I can even love you. Men are drawn to women who can stand on their own 2 feet, who can enjoy life with or without them. When you're not constantly available, you give him a chance to miss you. And missing you is powerful. It creates desire. It keeps him thinking about you when you're not around, and it makes him want to see you more. But if you're always right there, whenever he wants you, there's no space for him to miss you. And without that space, attraction starts to fade. When you carry self-respect into a relationship, you're telling him that being with you is a privilege, not a given. And people work harder to keep privileges than they do to keep things they think they can never lose. That's why self-respect is one of the strongest tools you have in keeping a man's love and attention, because it sets the tone from the very beginning. If you want me, you're going to have to treat me right, because I already treat myself right. Because I already treat myself right. Mystery is one of the most underrated parts of attraction, but it's one of the most powerful. When a man can't figure you out completely, when he feels like there's still more to learn about you, more layers to discover, it keeps him coming back. People are naturally drawn to what they can't fully predict, and relationships are no different. When you show everything all at once, when you lay out every detail of your life from the start, you take away the sense of discovery. But when you hold a little bit back, not in a secretive or dishonest way, but in a way that allows him to earn the deeper parts of you, that's when the connection becomes more exciting. Men love the chase, but it's not just about the chase in the beginning. Even after he's gotten your attention, he still needs to feel like there's something left to win. If you give away every thought, every plan, every emotion, the second you feel it, you remove the suspense. Mystery isn't about playing hard to get. It's about pacing the intimacy so he appreciates every new thing he learns about you. When he knows that each moment with you reveals something he didn't see before, he's motivated to keep showing up. A lot of women make the mistake of thinking that in order to keep a man, they have to be completely open right away. They think if they don't share everything, he'll think they're hiding something. But the truth is, when you give everything too soon, you take away the curiosity that keeps him invested. Curiosity is like a spark. It fuels conversation. It makes him think about you when you're not around. It makes him imagine what's next. Now, this doesn't mean you should be distant or cold. Mystery works best when it's balanced with warmth. You let him feel your interest. You show him your affection, but you also keep parts of your life, your passions and your thoughts that he can discover over time. That's what keeps him intrigued. When he realizes there's always more to you than what he's already seen, he doesn't get bored. He stays engaged because the story isn't over. Mystery also comes from living a full, independent life. When you're out there doing things that make you happy, pursuing your own interests and not broadcasting every single detail to him before he even asks, you create space for him to wonder. And wondering is powerful. When he's curious about what you're doing, who you're with, or what's making you smile, it pulls his attention toward you. That's when he starts making more effort to be part of your world. It's human nature to want what we don't fully have and to want to understand what we don't fully know. If you keep a little mystery, you make it clear that you're not just sitting around waiting for him to fill your time. You're living your life, and he has to work to be part of it. That effort builds his emotional investment, and that investment builds his love. Think about it like a great book or movie. If you already knew every twist, every ending, and every scene before you started, you wouldn't be as interested in reading or watching it. The excitement comes from not knowing exactly what's going to happen next. Relationships work the same way. When there's still more to discover, there's still the reason to keep turning the page. A woman with mystery is a woman who doesn't need to tell her whole story on the first date, the first month, or even the first year. She reveals herself naturally over time, and in doing so, she makes every moment feel fresh. Men don't forget that kind of woman because she keeps their attention without even trying. Mystery keeps the spark alive, and that spark is what makes him want more of you every single day. Emotional independence is one of the strongest qualities you can have in a relationship. It's the ability to care about someone deeply without making them responsible for your happiness, your self-worth, or your emotional balance. When a man meets a woman who is emotionally independent, it immediately changes the way he sees her. She's not clinging to him for constant reassurance. She's not looking to him to fix her problems or fill her time. She's already whole, already grounded, and already happy on her own. And because she doesn't need him in a desperate way, he wants her even more. When you're emotionally independent, you don't fall apart just because he hasn't texted in a few hours. You're not sitting around checking your phone every minute, waiting for him to validate you. You have your own rhythm, your own plans, and your own life that you continue living, whether he's part of it in that moment or not. That kind of stability is rare, and it makes a man respect you instantly. He sees that being with you is a choice you make, not a necessity.